This is obviously a very, very important issue here, right here where it hits home in Las Vegas and, of course, throughout the entire state of Nevada. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about Governor Sisolak. He announced that yesterday in a press conference that everyone gathered in a public space must wear a face mask effective 11:59 p.m. tonight, which I believe is June 25th. So he's talking about a spike in cases during the reopening in phase 2, and I want you to listen to this very carefully because this is the reason why he's doing it. Folks, make no mistake about it. The governor isn't enjoying this. Okay, this isn't an option where the governor wants to torture you. There's a reason why there are upticks in more than half the country right now. There's a reason why the governor of Texas, who couldn't be more of a Republican, is stopping or at least halting the reopening of that state. There are reasons why they're doing this, because this is a health concern. And I told you guys, hate to say I was right, we opened things too soon. And don't make the excuse and don't give me this crap. Oh, Brian, it's only because we have more testing. Okay, then riddle me this and answer this question for me. If it's because we're testing more people, then why are more people getting sick and why are more people going to the hospital? It makes absolutely no sense. Your stupid right-wing radical argument makes absolutely no sense. There are more sick people going to hospitals right now. That has absolutely nothing to do with testing more people. It means more people are getting sick.
And we reopened things too soon, given, Brian, you could make the argument that people didn't follow the rules. I mean, we reopened with some restrictions. Wear masks, please wear your masks. As you know, people flooded into casinos, and we've seen it firsthand, very few masks.
Yeah, I mean, why is it so difficult for you babies to just put on a frickin' mask? Would you rather the country not reopen at all? Because it's going to be one or the other here. Either wear your mask, put it on, or the country is not going to reopen and they're going to start shutting down again. It's very simple. It's one or the other. So this is a cut yesterday where Governor Sisolak is talking about the spike in cases during the reopening phase in phase 2. Have a listen to this.
Clearly, for many, the excitement and enthusiasm from escaping from our confinement and finally being able to enjoy dinner out with our families, buy new clothes, or get a haircut overshadowed the good judgment we practiced in the previous months.
And he's right. He's absolutely right. And like I said, it's happening throughout the country. There's a reason why there are upticks throughout the country. And like I said, it has absolutely nothing to do with more testing. And the reason for that, quite simply, there are more sick people that are going to the hospital. So Governor Sisolak also went on and explained why masks are 150% necessary. Have a listen to this.
I don't know why, or when protecting our health and our neighbors' lives became a political, partisan, or even philosophical decision. For me, it's none of those. It's a medical necessity, a human obligation, and it's good for business. Study after study, worldwide, every notable medical professional, from President Trump's top advisor, Dr. Fauci, to all of our Nevada medical professionals, assert one unassailable conclusion: wearing face coverings save lives. Period. End of story.
He's absolutely right. And you could go from study to study. When you wear a face mask, it's very, very clear. And he's right. There's study after study that when you don't wear a mask, it dramatically increases a person's chances of being infected by the COVID-19 virus. He's absolutely right. I don't want to hear people complain. I don't want to hear people whine and attack the governor. I mean, people are so stupid. Do you think that the governor wants to have to wear a mask everywhere? Do you think he wants to inconvenience people? Do you think he wants to have all these people pissed off at him for being uncomfortable? No, I personally believe the governor would rather you be a little bit uncomfortable than you be dead or contract the virus or possibly give it to somebody else. It's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a question. It's not a choice. Put on the damn mask. Stop complaining about it, or we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Again, there's a reason why there is an uptick in this virus. There's a reason why a lot of people are going to hospitals that are sick. And I believe that a lot of people have not taken this virus seriously. I mean, even going to California last week, people are not practicing social distancing. And, listen, that's a Democratic governor that preaches and preaches and preaches social distancing. But many of the places that I have gone to, people are not practicing social distancing. I go into these casinos, and then I see at some of these blackjack tables, you have these dividers, right? And then I look at a roulette table, and there's like 20 people there. It makes no sense to me. I was in Laughlin several weeks back, and if you don't know Laughlin, the average age is probably about 85, and I'm in the poker room, and in the poker room is packed, by the way. There must have been over 100 people in the poker room. Maybe I saw 2 people wearing masks. And, the employees were wearing masks. The dealers were wearing masks. The employees were wearing, but the players are not wearing masks. So, again, this is not one of those situations that should be political. This is a medical situation. This is a health situation. It's not about Republican or Democrat. We don't want to see continually upticks, the rise in coronavirus cases. We don't want to see that happen, just like many of you out there do not want to see the economy close down again. But I'm telling you right now, if you're not going to do what the governor asked you to do, and you're not going to put on the masks, and you're not going to practice social distancing, and by the way, I don't care if it's a Black Lives Matter protest, I don't care if it's a Trump rally, I don't care what the event is, and I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what it is. It could be absolutely anything. I don't care if it's a Republican event. I don't care if it's a Democratic event. This should not be about politics. This is about one thing and one thing only. Put on the mask. You're saving lives. If not yourself, you're saving other people from contracting the virus. Do what the governor is asking you to do. There's a reason why Texas is now not reopening, and they're halting all the reopening process. Republican governor. I hate to bring that up, but I know people out there are going to blame Sisolak, probably because he's a Democrat. At least some people are. Texas is now halting what they're doing. There's a reason for that. Okay? There's a reason for that. Because we have an uptick. And like I said it before, and I'll say it again, because you're not going to pin me to, a political side. I don't care if it's a BLM protest, which I have criticized, because many of those people are not practicing social distancing. I don't care if you're in church, if you're not practicing social distancing. I don't care if it's a Trump rally. I don't care what your political party is. This is about being safe. It's about listening to the health experts. It's about looking at the statistics. And I was talking to people on social media yesterday. And people that are complaining, oh, no, we got to put on masks. Oh, my God. Some of the biggest idiots and whiners in the world. Is it a little bit uncomfortable? Yeah. It's a
little bit?
Well, so now you're one of those people who complain
Brian,
about putting a mask on now. Is that?
Whenever I leave the house, do I want to put on a mask no matter what I do? Of course not. No. It's 105 to 115 degrees, Brian. We're in the dead of summer in Las Vegas, Nevada.
So you're complaining because it's uncomfortable.
It's not just uncomfortable, it's unsafe, Brian. There are employees at casinos that have passed out working in pools because their masks are basically suffocating
So
them,
let me
Brian.
just get this right.
No, and that's just the start of what I'm about to say here.
So,
The second part is...
No, but can I respond to that?
Sure, of
you
course.
Go on okay. So it's your opinion that it's more unsafe. I just want to make sure I get this right. It's more unsafe to put on a mask than to not wear it. Is that your point?
I'm saying in 105 to 115 degree heat, which is what we're going to experience here for the next month or so, wearing a mask outside, no matter where you're at, just if you're outside, is lunacy.
Okay, but that's not what I asked. Is your position that it is
I'm saying
more
people
unsafe?
Is that my position?
I
think that if every single person had an N95 mask or something that actually prevented the particles, but if you're wearing a cloth covering of some sort, do I think that that's more safe than being out in the public in 115 degree heat right now? I mean, Brian, it is not just uncomfortable. It's most likely very dangerous to do that in this heat as it is.
I haven't
now
heard
that
one
being said,
doctor or
you
scientist say what
you mentioned the uptick. Well, OSHA actually made a big statement about it.
Okay.
But you mentioned
said it's more unsafe to put
the
a mask
uptick.
on?
The uptick in cases, Brian, is attributed to the fact that contact tracing has improved significantly.
Then why are people getting sick and going to the hospital?
Hospitalizations aren't up. Neither are deaths. In Nevada, they're not.
I'm not talking about Nevada. I'm talking about places throughout the country. Have you looked at the statistics?
I'm talking about Governor Sisolak and what he's done in Nevada.
And I'm talking about
because we live in
throughout
Nevada.
the country. But I'm talking about what's going on throughout the country. There is absolutely more hospitalizations now in some states. That might
Of course
not be
there will
the
be.
case.
I'm not saying that's not the case, but in Nevada, that's not the case. And Nevada is actually one of only 5 states in the entire country that's tested 100,000 people that has less than a 5% positive testing rate. Now, has that rate gone from 4.48% to 4.9%? Yes, it has. But when you do contact tracing and someone has the virus and you contact a bunch of people that they've been in contact with, the chances of those people having the virus are much higher. Whether they're symptomatic or asymptomatic, it doesn't make a difference. So those numbers are technically skewed.
I'll ask you again.
That's why contact tracing it actually isn't really. I mean, it helps, but it's when you do a lot of contact tracing, you're going to increase the number of people that get the virus because the chance of you the chance of you testing somebody that has been in contact with somebody who has the virus is significantly higher because they actually have the virus.
I want to go back to originally what we're talking about, and that is obviously the masks. So it is your position that you think the governor is making a mistake and you think he is wrong by telling people tonight at 11:59 to wear masks. You do not agree with that, and you think it's wrong, even though throughout the country we're seeing dramatic upticks, and not just upticks in people with the coronavirus, but upticks on hospitalizations, people that actually feel sick that are going to the hospital. So it is your position.
I believe we've seen that in Arizona and Texas so far from what I've seen.
But it is your position that you disagree.
Deaths right now.
We're not talking about deaths. I'm talking about people that are sick.
Why is deaths not part of the conversation?
Right now,
because we had 38,000 cases yesterday. It was the most cases since we started with this.
So you disagree with
this crisis.
So you disagree with the government.
I mean, if I'm in the gym, do I want to wear a mask in the gym? No.
It's not about what you want to do. It's about what's healthy for everybody. Is it even safe to wear a mask in a gym, Brian? It's a lot safer, according to the experts, of wearing a mask.
While you're working out.
I'm trying to answer your question.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to answer your question, and by the way, I'm not answering it with my expertise. I'm answering what the doctors are saying. In any given situation, you are much less likely to contract the virus or give it to others if you are wearing a mask. That is 100% accurate and true, and that is why I'm for what the governor is doing. He is not doing it because he wants to inconvenience you or give you another reason to attack him. Not you, but others out there, a reason to compare him to Adolf Hitler. By the way, I had
First of all, I have never compared.
What did I just say?
Yeah, okay.
What did I just say?
Regardless,
why do you get defensive?
Two people have compared him to Hitler, maybe?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, 3?
Well, no, absolutely not. I was talking to people on social media yesterday. Again, you're just making up numbers as you go. I've talked to dozens of people.
It's a question.
And I'm answering
it. It's a guesstimation.
I've talked to several people yesterday that compare him to Adolf Hitler. I've talked to dozens of people in the last couple months, just me personally, that like to compare him to a Hail Hitler sign, and they're disgusting. The fact that and by the way, I didn't vote for Governor Sisolak, okay? I'm not a huge fan of his.
Did you vote? You didn't vote.
I'm not a huge fan of Governor Sisolak. I never have been. But the bottom line here is this. He's not doing it to inconvenience you or give people like you a reason to attack him. He's doing it based on the people that are talking to him because he doesn't want to look like Texas. Okay? He doesn't want to look like some of these states. He doesn't want people to die. This is a health concern, and I would rather have people wear a mask, I'm sure you would agree, than shut down the economy again. I don't understand why this is an issue, but I want to open up the phone lines. What do you guys think out there? 702-257-5396. Again, the number to call is 702-257-5396 if you want to be a part of the conversation. I want to hear from you. Your thoughts, your reaction. What do you think about Governor Steve Sisolak announcing yesterday that you're going to have to wear a face mask 11:59 p.m. tonight is when it starts. It is a mandate, and will even include public spaces outdoors where 6 feet of social distancing can be observed. During that news conference yesterday, he said the increase in the coronavirus positivity rate and the increase of hospitalizations statewide. Now, he said that. I'm not saying that. Governor Sisolak said that there has been an increase in hospitalizations statewide.
And the data says that statement is not true.
Okay, so if you want to call if you want to call the governor a liar, that's cool. I'm not about to do that. But let's take your phone calls at 257-5396.
Well, there's also something to be said about preventative too.
Absolutely.
Even you can argue over the data. I don't know what the data says, to be honest. I don't know. But I think Governor Sisolak is looking ahead to other places where there's been a spike and saying, hey, I don't want that to happen here. Let's stop it before it gets worse. That's probably part of his thinking.
And by the way,
I have no problem with wearing masks at Albertsons or the grocery store or somewhere indoors, but every time you leave the house.
You think it goes too far.
With how hot
do you
Las
agree
Vegas
that we should wear it indoors?
Is about, yeah, I'm fine with indoors. That makes sense to me. But outdoors, considering how hot Nevada is, I mean, this heat can be suffocating sometimes. And imagine that heat plus having a mask on, an itchy cloth.
I think if you're not practicing,
not an N95 mask.
How about if you're outside and you're not practicing social distancing? How about that? Can we be reasonable on this? If you're outside and you're practicing social distancing, I understand what you're saying. But what if you're in let's just say a protest, for example, or a rally? Don't you think you should have to wear a mask if you're not practicing social distancing? I don't think that's a stretch.
You know what? If someone in left-wing major media says that the protesters from the last month and a half were not practicing social distancing and that actually led to a spike in cases, then yes. Okay. But until that happens, then no.
I don't know.
A lot of the protesters, the Black Lives Matter, they were absolutely not and still don't practice social distancing.
Right.
But if you look at video footage, many of them are wearing masks.
Sure, some are.